Hello everyone, I'm Ankita Pokharel. In today's video, we're going to deal with a reading session on the topic The Resistant Moths. Let's begin the class now.
The resistant moths. First, they told us to buy the poisons to help us kill the pests, says Mahindra bitterly. Then they said we need poisons to combat the problems caused by the first pesticides. Now they say we shouldn't have used so much of those pesticides. My God, I think these insects will eat us alive. Mahendra Yadav is a farmer whose fields have been swamped by a strange new plague of moths that nothing will shift. His main crop is potatoes. Back in the early 1990s, government officials told farmers about amazing pesticides which would kill the insects in their field and soon make them rich. They were only too willing to buy them, and shopkeepers made them available. First, we bought one, says Mahindra, then another. After that, there was an avalanche of them. Now look where we are. The energy of the salesman was overpowering and enormous quantities were sold. But the chemicals were applied more or less discriminately, often in the wrong way and the wrong time. It wasn't our fault, Mahindra claims. We were so excited by the thought that we would soon be free of the whims of nature. What would you have done? But after a few years, they were in for a nasty surprise. Despite the mixture of powerful chemicals on the potatoes, a few moths survived. They reproduced themselves at a terrifying rate, devouring all the potatoes they could find. The chemicals, it seemed, had disturbed the previous natural balance by killing not only pests but their natural predators. So the new moth had the crop all to itself. The farmer's first reaction was to increase the dose of the pesticide, then to try new chemicals one after another. But it just needed one or two resistant moths to survive, and they could produce a new and tougher strain immune to the most powerful pesticide. New pesticides came in with new promises that they would finish off the evil moth. And indeed, they produced good results for a time. But soon it was clear that they were not the permanent solution either. Farmers are in despair. They have not only seen their harvest disappear, but they feel that they have lost the creative potential of the land itself. Mahendra himself is more hopeful. He has returned to more natural methods. He is letting some of his land lie fallow and changing the irrigation system in the hope that the moths will go away. Source: adapted from Campus English, Macmillan Publications. So let's discuss the key points from the provided text about the resistant moths. Firstly, the problem. A new plague of moths is devastating potato crops and pesticides are no longer effective. The next thing we get to know is about Mahindra, a farmer's perspective. He expresses frustration and feels misled by those who initially promoted pesticides. We came across the history of pesticide use. We got to know that in the early 1990s, government officials encouraged farmers to use pesticides, promising increased yields and wealth as well. It all began from early 1990s, where government officials encouraged farmers for the use of pesticides. The text directs us further to give us ideas about overuse and misuse. We came to know that salesmen aggressively promoted pesticides, leading to widespread and often improper use of various chemical mixtures. Furthermore, we got to know about the unforeseen consequence. And what is it? Despite the heavy pesticide use, some moths survived and reproduced rapidly, leading to the current plague resistance to pesticides. Here, Mahindra, the farmer, reflects on situation, highlighting the initial promise of the pesticides and the farmer's hope to overcome nature's challenges, which ultimately backfired. The text lastly discusses about the resistance. It explains that the core issues is the development of resistance in the moth population due to the constant and excessive use of pesticides. In essence, the text describes a situation where the overuse of pesticides has led to the evolution of resistant pests, creating a worse problem than the original one. It also touches upon the farmer's perspective, their initial optimism, and their subsequent disillusionment. Furthermore, we also got to know where the text discusses about the ecological imbalance, where the pesticides disrupted the natural balance by killing not only the targeted pests but also their natural predators, which allowed the resistant moths to thrive unchecked. Of course, the rapid production. The ecological imbalance led to a few surviving resistant moths provide an ability to quickly reproduce and create a new, tougher strain that is immune to even the most potent pesticides. Due to that, the farmers initially responded by increasing pesticides doses and switching to new chemicals, creating a cycle of increasing dependence on pesticides. So, escalating pesticides use. This is where a cycle of increasing dependence on pesticides had been created by farmers. And did the new pesticide offer relief? Yes, new pesticides offered temporary relief, but ultimately they failed as moths quickly developed resistance. We were directed towards the farmer's despair and loss as well through the text, where we got to know that farmers are in despair, facing crop loss and feeling of losing the land's potential as well. Lastly, the text explains Mahindra representing the whole farmer, his hopeful approach. Mahindra is taking a different path by returning to more natural farming methods. He is letting some land lie fallow, that means unplanted, and changing the irrigation system. He hopes that by creating a more balanced environment, the moth problem will resolve itself. So, all in all, the last part of the text highlights the negative consequences of relying on chemical solutions and emphasizes the importance of ecological balance and natural farming practices for long-term pest management. It shows a shift from chemical dependency to exploring more sustainable, nature-based solutions. Assignment time, students. Create a visual representation. It could be a poster, comic strip, or infographic that illustrates the story of the resistant moths, the problem of pesticide resistance, and the potential benefits of natural farming methods. Here, focus on the basic story and the idea of natural balance, and simplify your task and provide resources for creating a visual representation. Include your creativity and enjoy your task. How did your class go today? If you have any suggestions or feedback, feel free to reach out to us at learning@dearwalk.edu.nb. See you in the next class with another lesson. Thank you.